knowledge. Do you know why? And I'm sure you've seen the news. We've seen the news about a recent famous qadi who was succumbed to his desires and was all over the news and some of the nasty things that he was allegedly doing. And we have to be smart. Why? Because this individual may have taught 20,000 or more, even some estimates. And yet, for some of those 20,000 plus, they don't understand. They're not knowledgeable enough to not tie an individual to Allah. But unfortunately, there's some people who tied their iman and their recitation to this individual who did this pedophilia acts, and they say, oh my God, all that Quran he told me, I want nothing to do with it. You understand what you just said? This is the word of Allah. This is the book of Allah. This fool has nothing to do with what Allah's words are. And may Allah forgive him, because that's a disaster. But you see how Shaitan picks who he goes after? If he can sack a scholar, or he can sack a leader, if he can sack somebody that people look up to, and he can get a lot of people to move away from the religion because of that, he won. Right? It's almost like the two birds with one stone, but he got the whole community with one individual. And that's why I warn people, be wise about doing things on the internet. Be wise about knowing that Allah Azza wa Jal sees everything you're doing. Be wise about how there's some people even trying to set you up. They're getting you to slip. They're doing that. It's weird. But if we follow the Quran and Sunnah like the Prophet ﷺ taught us, then you'll be protected from all that. And you'll be protected from people around you as well trying to get you to succumb to these kind of things. And it's not just these people. It's us too in this room. You don't have to be a scholar to be wary about these things. You have to be smart. So any of the pictures on your phones, any of these shows that you're watching, you need to eliminate them from your life. Or get those scenes out. Figure out that, edit them out, etc. And if you can't, then guess what? The akhirah is better than the dunya. So just wait. It's not over that you can't sit there and conversate with some of your friends about these popular things that they're watching. So what? You can't watch it in a halal way? Then be done with it. You can't watch some of these popular shows, and I'm not going to name them because it's irrelevant. Whichever show and whichever type of entertainment you're following, you have to be smarter than that. Not to say we'll only watch it when the kids sleep or when no one's around. You shouldn't be watching it ever, whether the kids are awake or sleeping. And the rule of thumb I tell people is if their kids can, and that He allows us to be wiser people, wiser Muslims, so that we don't succumb to the zina, to all of the music and all of these haram things that the shaitan is trying to mislead us to. وَقُولِ قَوْلِ هَذَا وَاسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهَ لَكُمْ يَا رَبَّ الْعَالَمِينَ. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وآله وأصحابه أجمعين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد. And I'm just going to end with the following, and I want you to never forget this. You're in Khutbah al-Jum'ah today. Some people have never attended Khutbah al-Jum'ah. Some people don't care for it. And some people just like, whatever. I want you to pay attention because in Surah Ibrahim, in verse 22, chapter 14,